Alright, so this was an old redstone build that I had that after a while completely destroyed itself because it's a TNT cannon and that's just how they work. But I have completely redesigned it, and so now it is fully functional again. It is a fully automatic it's a fully automatic shotgun slash sniper rifle. The reason that makes sense is because if you put a choke on it, it turns into a slug where it's condensed into a super packed up slug, and then it will fire and then explode outward. Or you can remove the choke and that will turn it into more of a spray. Or you could put modified chokes to make it shoot directionally, or you can remove the so all right, here we go. I haven't taken the time to look down the barrel. Oh man, that's... I think... So, I'm not sure if you could tell why this would blow itself up often before I had to modify it, but if you remove the choke, so let's make it a shotgun choke, or a duckbill shotgun choke. So if you remove the sideways walls, but leave the top and bottom walls, what you get is what you'll end up with is a limited vertical spread, but an unlimited horizontal spread. So it will spray in a horizontal line. Another interesting one is if you only remove one wall, it'll spray only in one direction, and so it gives it a little bit of directional control. But normally with TNT cannons, you don't need a choke like this because they're kind of naturally choked by the fact that you only have one dispenser. But this design uses dispensers facing forward instead of sideways like this. Oh, and in case you didn't know, the way you get a preloaded dispenser, preloaded container like that is you hold down Control and then you hit your pick block button. So if I just get rid of this, Control, pick block, and there you go. My pick block is middle mouse button, but I like to customize controls. Anyway, here we go. And yeah. So I'll do a fly around so you can see how to build it, but it's honestly not that complicated. But if you're building this in survival, I really want to know how you got your hands on this much TNT, because sustained fire for because sustained fire doesn't last long with even with that amount of TNT. And if you're using this for PvP, basically the only way you can use this thing effectively is if you don't care about the only really practical way to use this for PvP is if you, first of all, have an absurd amount of TNT, which I don't know how you get the sand, because that's the limiting factor. But, because creepers are farmable. But, the other problem you need to look out for is if you plan on stealing anything that the person you're shooting at has, this is not the best option, because it's just going to vaporize whatever you're aiming at. This is the unchoked version. Still mostly horizontal. Thing. If you really... So, here is a TNT. This is a TNT cannon for if you really, really hate someone. This is an amplified world, as you can see, and I haven't been firing into this mountain for too long, and this is the size of the tunnel bore that I'm drilling into this thing. And if you put a choke on it, it gets itself some pretty good range because of the amount of charge it has behind that payload. Like, all of these are filled with TNT, so. Yeah, thank you for coming to my very monotone, boring TED Talk. I'll just do a quick fly around, so if you wanted to replicate this thing, you can. Basically, you just feed a repeater, repeaters. This clock needs to be exactly 20 ticks because that's how long a TNT takes to detonate. And then you feed it, and then you put some delay on it. The more delay, the more range. Less delay is better for close range, but if you don't put enough, you'll blow yourself up. So, buyers beware. A 3x3 grid of dispensers, and behind the dispensers you put an observer, and behind the observers you put a line of pistons with blocks loaded onto them, like that. That's to control the TNT that's coming out of the charge, so there's mitigating all risk of misfire as much as possible. Here's the clock for the payload, which this is the payload, this is the charge, that's how I refer to them. This wood block was helpful for me to indicate where the piston was, because there's a piston right here with slime blocks and redstone blocks. That's what powers all of the charge layers at once, because then it just moves everything at the same time. So it'll power all of those at the same time. You got all that. Yeah, the really important thing is this clock here and this right here. Everything else is pretty easy to figure out if you have redstone experience. But yeah, there you go.